Good evening, I'm Kaylee Starl.
And I'm Rashad Alexander.
Coming up, walking the stage over a year later.
Childhood songs coming to live to Marquette.
And everything homecoming.
All that and more starting right now.
From the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio, this is Marquette Now.
A former Marquette men's basketball and NBA forward player was arrested last Tuesday for uploading a fake COVID-19 negative test result.
Lazar Hayward Jr. was traveling from Los Angeles International Airport to Lehuke Airport in Kauai.
Raven Randall was also traveling there and was arrested. A news release from the Kauai Police Department states the arrest is because of an attempt to avoid the state's travel quarantine requirements. Hayward is a two-time All-Big East second-team honoree and sits third in program history in scoring and fifth in rebounds. Our Down to the Wire segment will provide more details on this story.
Marquette is remembering a former Jesuit rector who passed away last week. Marquette Now's Sarah Richardson has the story.
Father Gregory F. Lucy of the Society of Jesuits passed away Thursday, September 30th. He was a former rector of the Jesuit community here at Marquette. He also was a president of the Jesuit Conference of the United States from 1994 to 1997. Father Andy Thon, a close friend to Father Lucy, reflects on their friendship.
A longtime good friend, and just for me, seeing him through the years, how many different things he did and how many people he got to know. And he's just, with his laughter, and I just had deep respect for him.
After his recent diagnosis of melanoma, his condition worsened just before his passing.
And this has been tough because this happened so fast. He knew last week it went more seriously than we thought. He felt that he was ready.
A funeral mass will be held Friday, October 15th at 10 a.m. at the Church of the Jesu. I'm Sarah Richardson, Marquette Wire News.
The Education Opportunity Program welcomes an old face in a new position. Leah Thomas is named the new director for EEOP after serving as counselor, then as assistant director for 11 years up to 2019. The program gives preparation, access, and transitional assistance to low-income and first-generation students. Thomas looks forward to build on this program's legacy, according to Marquette Today. EOP has been ongoing for 50 years, touching current students and alumni.
This book, Black Marquette in Their Own Words, Overcoming Obstacles and Achieving Success, includes stories of Black alumni in EOP and many others over the course of decades on this campus.
Joining us live in the newsroom is General Manager of Marquette University Television, Andrew Amuzu.
He's joined with Valerie Wilson-Reed, an editor of this book, to discuss the making of the book and the stories it holds. Andrew?
Thanks, Kaylee and Rashad. I'm here with Valerie Wilson-Reed to discuss more about the book titled Black Marquette in Their Own Words, Overcoming Obstacles and Achieving Success. Thank you so much for joining us today, Valerie.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure.
We're excited to get started with this. So obviously this book is filled with many, many stories from Marquette alumni about what life was like here as a Black student. Can you talk about the process of, what went into this book, what stories to include, what stories to not include?
Well, basically, we were trying to get as many stories as we could. And so we sent out a letter to all of the African American alumni that we knew. And these are the responses that we received back. Part of the criteria was just to be respectful, because we knew that a lot of the stories may not be a lot of positive stories, but we also wanted it to be respectful. Right. But also what ended up coming back, I was very pleased to see, was despite the fact that there were negative experiences, there were positive results. Right. So there was a way for them to make lemons out of lemonade.
Oh
yes.
Yeah, great reference right there. And obviously, honest stories as well.
Yes.
And one of your stories is in there. In an excerpt, you said that you view this book as a gift to the alumni family. And with the variety of things that you were involved with on campus, with your recognized service, where does this book rank in your all-time personal list of achievements?
I would probably have to say this is number one.
Number one. Okay.
Number one for several reasons. One is because it's dedicated to the students at Marquette, not just African American students, but all students. Two, it took a lot of work.
Oh,
I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning until late at night getting this book together during the COVID, and talking about lemons with lemonade. If it hadn't been for the fact that I was home at COVID, I probably wouldn't have had the time to be able to do this book.
Yeah.
So, but all of the stories coming in, I'm just so thankful for the people who did send their essays in. It wasn't very easy for them to do.
And last year, it seemed like everything was about COVID, but also last year was very significant for students, for Black students especially, on campus, as many ethnic groups held the university accountable for not necessarily representing all groups equally. So how do you think that this book can help inspire the next generation of Black students and other students of color?
Well, the main purpose was for the students to realize that through adversity, that something positive can happen. Yeah. Okay, like you said, they responded by holding the university accountable. This book also holds the university accountable because it's letting them know all of the things that have happened in the past. And I've never been one to bring out negative things. I always think of things from a positive perspective. So instead of saying, well, I don't like this happening or that happening, my thought is, well, what am I going to do about it to make it better for the next student or the next person that comes through? Right.
And obviously, this book highlights a lot of stories of Black students. But what do you think white students can take away from this book as well?
I think all the students, white, Hispanic, it doesn't matter, to realize that you can have adversity, but then that you can overcome it. No matter how negative something happens, use that to fuel the positive, okay? Yeah. And I think it's a good book to see that, even with your studies and things, because there are certain people in here who flunked out of school, right? Yeah. And decided, well, I really want my degree from Marquette, and came back and now is having lunch with the Prime Minister of England. So you have these kind of stories. So use these negative things for positive.
And this book means a lot to campus, and obviously means a lot to you.
Yes.
Is there anything that you would like to tell the audience about this book, something special, where they can find it, et cetera?
Well, currently you can find it by contacting Rochelle Shern at rochelleshern.marquette.edu, rochelle.shern@marquette.edu. Also, coming in October, it's going to, October or November, we're hoping to have it on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we sold out. So we're waiting for the order to come in. So once that order comes in, then we will be putting it on Amazon.
Well, that's great. Great news. It's accessible for everyone, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Valerie. We really appreciate your time and coming on the show.
Okay, well, thank you for having me.
Yes, no problem. Back to you both in the studio.
Thank you, Andrew and Valerie. In other news, University President Michael Lovell is showing off his new mohawk. Lovell posted this photo with his daughter Anna on Twitter after receiving treatment after being diagnosed with sarcoma, a rare form of cancer. The phrase "Lovell Strong" continues to spread across campus as Lovell continues his cancer journey. Graduation in the middle of October?
That's right, Rashad. And for a class that came with their diplomas in hand, Marquette Now Sarah Richardson takes us to this past weekend.
Greetings, family and friends, and 2020 graduates.
It is a year overdue, but certainly a welcome celebration. The Marquette University class of 2020 finally has the chance to walk the stage surrounded by the cheers of loved ones. At homecoming weekend on Saturday, October 2nd, the graduates are finally able to throw their caps with their friends in an outdoor ceremony.
So so excited. Honestly, I didn't think this was ever going to happen. So when I heard that we were going to get like this little commencement, I was like, yes, I'm totally going to be there. So I think it's better late than never, and I'm super excited.
With pomp and circumstance in the background, graduates are turning their registration slips in as they begin their slow but triumphant walk on stage. They are greeted with fist bumps from deans, Provost Kimo Ayun, and President Michael Lovell as they smile out at their proud family. After a few words from President Lovell,
you are some of the most adaptable, versatile students we've ever graduated at Marquette.
And the singing of the Marquette University anthem, graduates return to their families to celebrate.
Like my friends, family, everybody out, COVID, like 2020, class 2020, I know it's been difficult, and I'm happy for everybody. I'm happy that we've been here, we made it, and so just congrats.
I'm Sarah Richardson, Marquette Wire News.
Coming up, homecoming concert bringing students to the dance floor.
And later, students taking the stage for some comedic competition. We'll be right back.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things,
but they're all pure love.
Welcome back to Marquette Now. I'm Kaylee Starl.
And I'm Rashad Alexander.
A high school homecoming is usually a dance, but Marquette's homecoming is a week-long celebration.
Marquette Now's Timothy Leteau captures the fun.
Hello, 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 hello. that was actually really cute. All right, are you recording?
Yes, the camera is rolling. And why wouldn't it be recording the homecoming royalty? It's homecoming week. There's plenty of lights, cameras, and action. Action and energy are the defining qualities of homecoming weekend. From the talent show, to sports, to bingo, and everything in between.
Well, I tell you, the practices, they're working really hard. You know, the intensity, the energy.
The fans supposedly have as much energy as the players.
So yeah, it's just an exciting season we see coming and coming out to be with the rest of the fans, eat some hot dogs, enjoy ourselves, have a good time.
Marquette women's basketball manager Chanel Williams has expectations for the season too, and especially for the fans.
We have some pretty hype fans. We're in the city, so I think you can expect a lot of enthusiasm and energy.
A good time in the Al McGuire Center, and also a good time in the bingo hall. Even President Michael Lovell, men's basketball head coach Shaka Smart, and Provost Kimo Ayun join in on the fun.
A vibrant group of students, and I never would have guessed so many people here for bingo tonight.
So they asked me to come with Shaka and President Lovell to do a little bit of calling. As soon as I heard that opportunity, no way I was going to miss that.
But what is missing is a win for most players.
It was kind of like buying a lottery ticket. You're so hopeful, but then you lose, and it's like, well, no duh, of course I was gonna lose. But still, you get that little bit of hope, and it makes it all worth it.
No love is lost for Glow Bingo.
It was amazing. I loved it. So much energy, so much fun. Amazing prizes. I'm sad I didn't win, but it was so much fun. I loved it.
Thank you to the Marquette University Television Live Remote team. I'm Timothy Leteau, Marquette Wire News.
Sean Kingston is bringing the fire to Varsity Theater. Sean Kingston performed in the building this past Saturday.
The one that can fill your fantasies. Milwaukee, put your hands up with me. Let's go. Na na na.
Marquette Television Live streamed the event on campus channel 4.1. He performed classics like Eeny Meeny and Beautiful Girls, and he got the crowd singing along.
They'll have you suicidal. Now when you say it's over.
Music television, otherwise known as MTV, may have to watch out.
That's right, Rashad, because Marquette is bringing its own version of Wild 'N Out to campus.
The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Marquette, hosted a popular game show on campus.
Wild 'N Out's very own Tyler Chronicles, Nav Green, and Mr. Bankshot came to the Weasler Auditorium to participate in the game show Thursday night. Marquette Now's Timothy Leteau has the story.
What is, get out this room, it's grown people talking. Okay.
I used to watch the show a lot when I was younger, and then I still watch it to this day. So it's some nostalgia, and being able to be part of it was just like, oh wow, it's cool, you know.
Wild Now, an event that the Marquette chapter of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People have been hard at work planning. None more so than chapter president Samari Price.
It took the summer up until now to, get it together and to put it all together and to make sure the show runs smoothly.
And Price's preparation for the event does not go unnoticed, especially from first-year student Dami Awoshika.
She had been planning this for about 4 months, and even though they had to change a bunch of stuff, she worked really hard to put this and get this on the roads.
Hard work, especially in social activism, but it is rewarded with comedic fun.
And they should see, sometimes we take breaks too. We are enjoying ourselves too, and we want them to see that you can do all this serious stuff here on campus, make movements happen on campus, shake stuff up on campus, but you still gotta have fun too. So that's what this event is for.
Having fun, connecting with others.
It allows a fun environment to build a sense of community, like an environment where not too much is at stake. We can laugh, have fun, and just be ourselves and, make our mistakes and just everybody get along.
Providing a well-deserved break from harder work.
Because not only are we about the serious stuff, but we want students to have fun. They're the center of everything that we do. Everything we do is with them in the back of our mind.
In the back of their minds, but at the front of a social movement. I'm Timothy Leteau, Marquette Wire News.
Professors and students are connecting over board games. Last Friday's meetup included games like Seven Wonders and Splendor. It's not a formal student organization. The creator of the group says they have no plans to become one either.
I think it's all too easy for the professors to just be busy doing their thing and students be busy doing what they have to do as well. And I think, I guess as the math department, we've talked a lot about it. It's just kind of, it's trying to find better ways to, do student faculty, engagement.
Just get to know professors, because you're so used to seeing them in class and lecturing and whatever, but they're actually pretty awesome people, in general. So it's really nice to be able to get to know them and hang out with them, yeah. And also beat them in board games.
Just as game building builds a community, there are many other groups on campus that do the same. For your discretion, the following story discusses the stigma around depression. Sarah Richardson has the story.
October is National Depression Education and Awareness Month. Marquette University Counseling Center partners with Active Minds Marquette and We Are South to show the Kevin Hines documentary, Suicide: The Ripple Effect.
So the goal of this event is to teach students about having hope and raising awareness for suicide prevention.
Active Minds Marquette is an organization that creates events to educate students on mental health.
I am the president of Active Minds, and we are a mental health awareness group on campus, so we're working to fight the stigma against mental health and help provide resources to students and events around campus, like right now, the suicide prevention movie that we are putting on.
We Are South, translated to We Are Together, is a South Asian mental health group. The Milwaukee branch is founded by Ranjit Singh.
I created We Are South to change the narrative around mental health in the South Asian community, and everyone is welcome to come regardless of background. My personal struggles inspired me to make this organization. I saw firsthand what it's like to go through the stigma while facing mental health challenges. and I wanted to change that.
I'm Sarah Richardson, Marquette Wire News.
The newest exhibit at the Milwaukee Art Museum emphasizes Spain's influence on the United States. The museum, along with the help of Marquette University, created an app meant to facilitate Spanish speakers. The app, created by Xiyu Tian, a student pursuing his doctorate in computer science, includes Spanish-speaking students lending their voices. Maria Almo Santiago, a student who helped, shares more.
Being Latina, I think, exposing people to Spanish speakers in any way is really important. So being able to do the recording in Spanish and knowing that that's what people are going to be hearing when they're looking at the painting, that just felt like a really great opportunity for me to really immerse people in Hispanic culture. Like art is, it's universal, and even speaking different languages, like those are barriers that can be crossed.
This is one of the first major exhibits to focus on the influence of Spanish culture on American paintings. The exhibit ran from June 11th to October 3rd.
You know, Rashad, walking around campus, there's some leaves on the ground, the sky's been a little gray.
Well, that can only mean that fall's here, and joining us now is Nancy Flaherty with a look at our weather.
Absolutely. Let's hope that fall is here to stay. Let's check in to see how our weather is doing right now. Currently, the temperature is at 65 degrees, humidity is at 80%, precipitation at 5%, and winds for the northeast coming at 8 miles per hour. Let's take a look into state overnight lows. Superior is going to be hitting it at 57 degrees. Minocqua at the lowest at 51 degrees. Over down here in Milwaukee, it's going to be a cold, crisp 64 degrees, while Green Bay is sitting at a nice 56 degrees as well. If we check into our state tomorrow highs, we're going to see that temperatures are increasing a little bit across the state, keeping in that 60s to 70s range. Superior is going to be at 63 degrees. Green Bay's over there at 72, and Milwaukee sitting at a nice 69 degrees. Tonight, the weather is going to be cloudy with occasional rain showers, so swap all those coats for rain jackets specifically. The low is going to be 64 degrees, humidity is at 57%, and precipitation at 60%. We're going to see it tomorrow. Showers are early, becoming steady light rain later in the day. The high is going to be 69 degrees, humidity at 63%, precipitation at 60%, and winds coming in at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Make sure to grab your umbrella. Let's look into the extended forecast over the next 5 days. We're going to be keeping in the ranges from 70 to 80 degrees about. Even still, it's going to be pretty cloudy with rain as we look into the forecast. Friday is going to keep us at a high of 76, and to Saturday a high of 80, but no sunshine to be seen. Sunday is going to be at 76 degrees, Monday's at 72 degrees, and Tuesday is going to be at 74 degrees. Keep those rain jackets on, Marquette. That's it for weather. Stay with us because Kristen Parisi will be back with sports right after this.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back. I'm Kristen Parisi with your Marquette Now Sports Report. Moving on to Marquette Volleyball, the women traveled across I-94 on Sunday afternoon to face Big East foe, the DePaul Blue Demons. The Golden Eagles swept the Blue Demons in 3 sets to remain perfect in conference play. Graduate students Hope Wirch and Taylor Wolf led the way with 9 kills apiece. Switching over to men's soccer, the men hosted the number 24 Providence Friars on Saturday night. The lads tied with the Friars 2-2 after Providence scored 2 goals in 3 minutes at the end of regulation. Both teams failed to score in either overtime, leaving the match as a tie. Redshirt juniors Zion Andrech and Lucas Sunison both had a goal for the Golden Eagles. Now for the women, the Golden Eagles hosted the Seton Hall Pirates for a Sunday matinee. Marquette beat the Pirates in a close game 1-0 to move to 3-1 in Big East play. Redshirt sophomore Haley Block scored the game-winning goal in the 69th minute. That's it for sports, but don't go anywhere. Marquette Now will be right back with our Down to the Wire segment.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Welcome back to Marquette Now. I'm Kaylee Starl.
And I'm Rashad Alexander. Marquette Wire Executive News Editor Megan Wooler joins us now for tonight's edition of Down to the Wire.
She's with Executive Sports Editor John Liuzzi to talk about the former Marquette basketball player Lazar Hayward Jr.'s arrest. Megan?
Hey John, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me, Megan.
So you wrote an article that was on the front page of the Tribune this week about the arrest of a former Marquette basketball player, as Kaylee just told us. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So former Marquette men's basketball forward and NBA player Lazar Hayward was arrested in Hawaii on his trip to Hawaii from Los Angeles last week for uploading falsified COVID-19 documentation. And this is going to Hawaii. There's obviously a lot of protocols for COVID, and he didn't follow them. So he was arrested once he landed after traveling from LAX to Kauai via American Airlines.
Yeah, so since he was arrested for violating these COVID protocols, do you want to sort of give us a little bit more background on what the current COVID protocols are for Hawaii travelers?
Yeah. After talking with an official from the Kauai airport, along with a news reporter on the island, for unvaccinated travelers, there is 2 options for them to upload to the state's safe travel portal. They can either take a COVID-19 test 72 hours prior to their departure and arrival, or quarantine 10 days prior to their departure. And he obviously opted to go with the COVID test, and he uploaded a fake COVID test, a negative COVID test, in fact. So that's what really was flagged in the system once he landed on the plane.
So you mentioned that this story kind of broke Monday.
Yep.
Sort of. How did you kind of go about getting the information to write that story and, get that to cover?
Yeah, so obviously right away I would try to find some sources and some contacts out in Hawaii, and I just called the airport and spoke to a visitor information director over there, and then I also spoke to a news reporter from Hawaii News Now, the first news station that actually broke the news in Hawaii last week. So I was able to talk to those, confirm it, and I also was able to receive the press release from the Kauai Police Department.
Yeah, so is this for just Kauai or just all the islands in general? Is that these COVID protocols are for?
So it's for the entire state of Hawaii, and this has been something that the island has been very strict of for outstate of tourists, and obviously there's tens of thousands of tourists who travel to Hawaii for vacation each day. So they're trying to be very strict and try to keep the island safe as possible with COVID numbers spiking, and one way is trying to hope that athletes like Lazar Hayward use their integrity, and even just people in general, citizens of the country, use their integrity and follow in the justice of just being safe in public.
Yeah. Do you have a current update with us as what the situation is?
For sure. So Lazar Hayward was released after the investigation through the Attorney General's office, along with the Kauai Police Department, pending an investigation, and he actually was brought right back to the airport and had to take a direct flight back to LAX, which I found out he actually had to pay for himself. That's one of the punishment causes, fees, and there is a pending court date. No date has been set, but one in the near future.
Thank you, John. That's all the time that we do have for tonight. I'll throw it back to Kaylee and Rashad in the studio.
Thanks, Megan and John. That's our report for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kaylee Starl.
And I'm Rashad Alexander. Remember to check MarquetteWire.org for all the latest campus news. Good night, Marquette.